Hello to you. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Remeisha here with another tropical update. Of course, last week we were tracking what ended up being one of the worst hurricanes to hit the state of Florida in Florida's history. Unfortunately, it did make landfall. Ian, of course, at 150 miles per hour. That was close to Category 5 status, so that just caused widespread destruction. We tracked Hurricane Ian for several days. Thank goodness we've gotten rid of Ian, but it will take folks in Florida a very long time to clean up from that devastating hurricane. And of course, it made another landfall up around the Carolinas and caused damage there as well. So we've gotten rid of Ian for this week, but we've got a few other systems to track. So let's get right to it. This is Orlene, which was a hurricane this morning as it made landfall in southwestern Mexico, but it has been pushing over very mountainous terrain. And of course, once tropical systems get over land, they lose their fuel or their steam to strengthen. That's the warm ocean water. So because of that and the mountainous terrain, it has quickly weakened to a tropical depression, now with winds down to 35 miles per hour. Movement to the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour, pressure at 1,006 millibars. That pressure will keep going up as the winds come down. And I think overnight we'll likely be rid of Orlene. It's actually going to fizzle out most likely. Here is that track. It is pushing off to the north-northeast, and there you go, Tuesday 1 a.m. down to 25 miles per hour, and after that it should fade away and fizzle out completely. We did have something interesting develop out in the eastern Pacific. Of course, we have Orlene, but we had another tropical storm to develop in the eastern Pacific, and this is Payne, tropical storm Payne, with 40 mile per hour winds, movement to the north-northwest at 6 miles per hour, and pressure at this point at 1,006 millibars. It looks like this one may just be a fish storm because I don't think it's going to threaten any major land area, so that is some good news. I do want to show you the track of tropical storm Payne. This is as of the latest 4 p.m. advisory. Notice it's going to continue pushing off to the northwest and then make a curve more to the west by Wednesday into Thursday. But notice it never really gets any stronger than a tropical storm, and then by Thursday it weakens to a tropical depression with winds around 35 miles per hour. So this system will encounter what we call shear, and that's going to kind of help to keep it weaker, kind of tear it apart, not really allow it to strengthen a lot. And it's also going to run into some drier air in the mid-level. So that means that Payne likely will not blow up and become a big hurricane, and it's likely not going to impact any major systems. Right now it is still several hundred miles to the south and west of Baja California Peninsula. So we'll watch that one closely. But of course, I'm sure you're wondering what's going on in the Atlantic. That was the Eastern Pacific. So now let's talk about the two systems that we're closely monitoring in the Atlantic. This one is basically a couple of days away from reaching the Eastern Caribbean. It's got a low 20 to 30% shot for development, 20% chance for a tropical depression to form in the next 2 days, and a slightly higher 30% chance that we could have a tropical cyclone develop in the next 5 days. It is pushing off to the west-northwest around 15 to 20 miles per hour, and it is forecast to reach the Windward Islands in a couple of days, the Eastern Caribbean, and then make its trek across the Caribbean, and then we'll have to see where it goes from there. But that one actually has at least a slightly higher shot to maybe get a little closer to us in southeast Texas. But this other system farther out in the eastern Atlantic, closer to Africa, a higher chance to develop into a tropical depression or a tropical storm, a 60 to 70% shot, but a lower chance it would actually make it all the way over to the United States. So of course we're watching both closely, but this is the tropical wave right here, this area of showers and storms that will have a slightly higher chance to get closer to the Gulf of Mexico over the next several days. So we'll monitor this closely. Atmospheric conditions are at least slightly favorable for this to develop into a depression or a storm over the next few days. So it's something that we will be watching closely. Here is another view, our tropical satellite showing the area of showers and storms with this wave that is off to the south and east of the Windward Islands. They will likely start to kind of congeal, develop, and get a little more organized, but right now fairly disorganized. But if we start to see that area of low pressure forming and more organization, of course, that would mean that we likely would have a tropical cyclone developing over the coming days. But right now, still fairly disorganized. We do have another wave farther east in the Atlantic. This one is a little bit more organized, but it is still way out there in the eastern Atlantic, still about a couple hundred miles off to the south-southwest of the Cape Verde Islands, so still pretty close to Africa, but we are monitoring this area because it has a high shot that it will become a tropical depression, tropical storm, possibly even a hurricane over the next 2 to 5 days. However, there is a lower chance that that one reaches the U.S. because it would have to make it all the way across the Atlantic, and right now it appears that the atmospheric conditions are not going to be extremely favorable for that to happen. But of course, we are monitoring both of those tropical waves, and if we do get one of those tropical waves to develop into a tropical cyclone, the next name would be Julia on the list, and then after that it would be Carl and then Lisa, and these are the names for the Atlantic. So of course we are monitoring things closely. We don't have any tropical storms or hurricanes that are threatening us anytime soon, so that is good news. And if we can just get through the middle of October, notice the risk for the hurricanes, the tropical storms, the tropical depressions really starts to go down for the last couple weeks of October. And then as we get into November, the chance much lower. Of course, hurricane season officially goes through the end of November. That's November 30th. But as we go through each week now, if we can get through a few more weeks, we do have a much lower shot that we'll have to deal with a tropical storm or hurricane hitting the area. We've been very fortunate this hurricane season not having to deal with any major systems reaching us, but of course, you know, until hurricane season is over, you always have to watch things closely because there's always still a chance. And that is why we will continue to do our daily tropical updates through the end of hurricane season. Of course, you can catch us here daily on the Fox 26 YouTube page. You can also go and download the Fox 26 weather app if you haven't already. A very cool thing to have, lots of interesting weather info and lots of vital important information for you to know, especially when severe weather threatens. We know the weather has been quiet lately, and that's been nice, but that's not going to last. So the next time we get a big flooding event, tropical system, or even ice or snow, you will be prepared and you will know where to go. That Fox 26 weather app. So head to the App Store if you haven't already. Get that for your phone, your tablet. And also don't forget to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I post interesting weather information there and some other stuff sometimes too. So we've got Remeisha Shade TV at Twitter, Remeisha Shade Weather for Facebook, and at Remeisha Shade on Instagram. Have a great rest of your day.